Biogenesis essentially opens up bio token ownership to the public. Biogenesis raised, on the day, it was 6.22 million for 5% of the token supply. Participants can contribute 8 different tokens to the Biogenesis auction. And the way that it works is a different amount of bio is deposited into each of these auction contracts. Each auction contract has a final settlement price, meaning that all participants get the same amount. It is on a first come first serve basis though, so if you want to make sure that you get an allocation, be sure to participate early. We've seen some of the auctions literally fill within 1 or 2 days last time that the Genesis auction started. So now we have round 2 of the Genesis auction. At this time, we're actually going to include ETH as well. And we've made a decision to retroactively airdrop over 2% of token supply back to round 1 participants, which brings down the FDV to about 85 million. The second auction is going to be capped at 100 million FDV. And we felt, given that participants are really able to get in at the ground level of a project here, and there's going to be around 12%, 30% circulating supply based on the biotokenomics. So this is roughly, just based on those tokenomics, would be 10 to 12 million market cap resulting from that FTB, and so we felt that was a really fair distribution. I think when creating something like a scientific funding protocol that is directly targeting communities, it's really important to enable community participation from the ground up. So from the bio airdrop and from the first round of auctions, we already have over 1,000 token holders in bio, and I'm really excited to see how much we grow with this second auction. The goal of Biogenesis is to seed the bio-liquidity protocol with liquidity, right? We're both enabling contributions in ETH as well as in a variety of BioDAO tokens. The protocol is going to utilize those to market make in bio and in those respective tokens. So bio will be used as a liquidity pairing token to pair BioVita, BioGrow, BioAthena, and many of the other tokens. And then it's going to see deep bio ETH liquidity pool. And so what we're really adopting here is a classic DeFi liquidity protocol strategy. And we think this is really interesting because one of the fundamental things that have been lacking in the DeFi space is frankly liquidity. We're aiming to solve this through a DeFi native approach by enabling bio. And so by participating in this ecosystem, by participating in the Genesis, you're directly contributing those assets into the protocol. And we expect the protocol to launch later in Q4, at latest early in Q1, and then begin seeding liquidity across all of those different organizations and BioDAOs. But you're actually not just seeding the current BioDAOs, you're also seeding a whole new generation of future BioDAOs that are essentially coming into the system. So what can I actually do with bio? So bio is used to actively curate the DAOs, the next DAOs that come into the system. So besides your typical governance, voting on rewards in the system, or voting on liquidity pools to create and to add to, bio actually allows you as a bio token holder to curate which DAOs come into the system. And so you actively get to choose and decide. You can also help source DAOs that all become kind of applicants to the bio launchpad. So once DAOs are accepted, the protocol helps automate their tokenomics. And there's a range of service providers to the protocol that now provide acceleration services. This could be design, it could be legal, essentially everything. You can kind of think of this as the Y Combinator of BioDAOs. There's going to be very small cohorts, meaning only 4 or 5, maybe 6, 7 DAOs per year. And that's because building a biotech DAO is really hard. I famously like to say building in biotech is really hard, building a DAO is really hard, so building a biotech DAO is super hard. And that's really what we're aiming to streamline and productize and make way easier with Bio Protocol. I'm super excited about some of our new DAOs that are hopefully joining the system. One of them, for instance, is a DAO that is focusing on rare diseases. And its founder is from the Bay Area and has successfully brought rare disease therapeutic to stage 3 clinical trials for under $5 million. So I really think the sweet spot for some of these DAOs is funding highly impactful science that has a direct impact on patients and doing so at a really low cost. And so this founder already works with multiple families, has late-stage preclinical assets, has early assets that are already in the clinic. And if you see some of these, there's videos of like children that can walk again because of these therapeutics. And yeah, if you see the stories from parents, from families are really, are really, really impactful. Second, we have a DAO focused on long COVID, for instance. Long COVID affects potentially hundreds of millions that get a continued autoimmune suppression after being infected with long COVID or even having the vaccine. Another one is we have a quantum biology focused DAO and research community. This is a researcher who's potentially joining us directly out of MIT, has funding lined up from some of the biggest philanthropists in the world. There's already 10 million confirmed in a 510c, and they're developing a quantum microscope. The token and the DAO will be used to essentially perform bets on which experiments will be most successful, and then that progresses into IP. Quantum biology is a really fascinating new field that essentially looks at quantum mechanical effects at the cell level. If we understood that, we could, for instance, hack processes like photosynthesis. So incredibly grateful for these applications and the trust that these communities are putting with us, and in the future with you, the bio token holder.